The last one, the quarantine. I saved this one for last. This is the thing we're trying to avoid. If we are on a quarantine, that means there's illness. Now, the news reports talk so much about the infection rate and how it amounts to death rate. That seems to be the focus, because I'm not hearing a whole lot about the recovery. And there is folks that recover. This virus is like the flu. It's like the flu. It's a cousin, it's a brother of the flu. But for whatever reason, we're just not hearing a lot about the recovery rate. So I just want to add a positive light to our meeting today. Just because you get COVID-19 doesn't mean, mortality. It doesn't mean the end of the world for the person. It's very possible that you can overcome it, like a flu, like a cold, like chickenpox, polio, heat illness, all these illnesses that can definitely cause death, but our body's strong. We have the ability to overcome. I wish the news would talk more about the recovery rate, but they don't. So, with regard to the quarantine, it's our hopes that nobody in Meyer Mixer becomes sick, and neither in your family. We want you all healthy. It's better that way. It's good for you. It's good for business. When you're healthy, you're going to come to work. It's good. In the event that the management of Meyer Mixer comes to understand that one of the employees or a visitor has come and potentially infected the plant, there's an investigation that takes place. In the immediate, at the time of notification, the company management will identify the best they can who in the house, in the company, was within close contact of the person. That's that within 6 feet for 15 minutes. They're going to do their best to identify that. That way they can refer them to test. Then they're going to identify what area was the potentially infected person working in. Because they could have been possibly come in contact, touching surfaces. And then those surfaces can now be disinfected. With all this said, there's still going to be the necessity for the quarantine. What's the quarantine time? The minimum amount of time?
14 days.
There seems to be two options. Let me explain this. If there's been a potential infection, then the people who have been in the close contact within 6 feet for the 15-minute period, they'll be referred to test as well. And also, any employees who worked in the area where the potential infection occurred. And they may have contacted the surfaces. They'll be referred to test as well. Well, this here is basically left up to the medical professionals. When you are put on a quarantine, they're going to decide whether it's the 10 days of isolation, and then an additional 3 days to ensure no recurrence of symptoms. There's some instances where it's the 14. I'm more familiar with the 14. But now there is definitely a 10. So I'm wondering, who decides this? I was going crazy. Who decides whether it's 10 or 14 days? The doctor. Your doctor will let you know. Now keep in mind, the county has what they call tracers. What's a tracer? What does that mean? A person who's a tracer. Anybody? Yes, sir, JD. JD said the people that backtrack. I didn't know what the tracer was either. What the heck is a tracer? That's a person hired by the county. They work for the county and wherever you're at, LA County, Orange County. They're assigned to the case, like a caseworker. Instead of saying caseworker, they call it tracer. And their responsibility is to backtrack the infected person, where they have been and who they may have been in contact with, but also to ensure the quarantine. Wherever you quarantine at, it could be at home, it could be in a medical facility, wherever the quarantine takes place, whether it's the 10-day or the 14-day. If you've got a tracer assigned to you, it's pretty strict. Nobody gets in, and definitely you're not getting out. Is that clear? Everybody understands the quarantine? It's heavy. That's pretty heavy. I didn't know. They got a lady sitting outside your house on the cell phone calling into the public health department. Yep, Armando's inside. Everything's secure. I'll be here for another 15, 20, 30 minutes, whatever. Doing some reports. I'll inform you if I see anything abnormal. Basically watching to ensure stay inside and nobody going inside. Thank you. There was something in your mind.